Good afternoon and welcome to the Association of Professional Landscapers finalists announcement for the APL Awards 2021. Before I hand over to Bob Sweet, one of our judges, I would like to thank all the other judges, and they are Rupert Keyes, Robin Templer-Williams, Steve Smith, and of course not forgetting our head judge, Richard Barnard. The under £20,000 category.
The finalists in this particular category are Earthstone Landscapes with Bowling Street, Greenbird with North Somerset Period Courtyard, Landscapes for Living with Peel Road, Mango Paving and Landscaping with the entry for Mrs. Potter, Shrub and Stone Limited for Palace Road, and the Botanical Garden with Spears. Some really great entries there, and it's going to be interesting to see which one hits the winning spot.
We'll move on to our next one, which is slightly more value, is £20,000 to £35,000, Bob.
Landscapes for Living Limited, Montague Road, LG Landscapes Limited, Hillman's Project, Nordlands Landscape, the De Bevier Town Project, the Botanical Garden, Wenham, M. Withall Landscapes, Old Coach House, Evergreen Landscapes Limited, Hythe Garden Landscapes Limited, Distinctive Tiered Garden, Conquest Creative Spaces, Kema Garden, Conquest Creative Spaces, Coppice Way, Edward Davis Design, Winchenden Road, Elms Landscaping Design Limited, Tranquil Entertaining Space, and Hythe Garden Landscapes Limited, Beach Walk. Keba Garden Materials, Tarmac to Sanctuary. Now, Phil, interesting because some got some lovely structures in them, some got some beautiful hard landscape finishes, and some of the overall effect, you know, some are using traditional paving, some are using brick paving, some have some lovely feature seating. Yeah, interesting to see which one's going to bounce up from here.
So our next category, Bob, if you wouldn't mind, is £35,000 to £50,000.
The finalists in the £35,000 to £50,000 category are as follows: Thorburn Landscapes, Wanford Close, Gardenscapes, Woodstock Grove, Conquest Creative Spaces, Kema Place, Creative Roots, Windermere Hall, Gadd Brothers Trees and Landscapes, Norfolk Garden, Greenscape Gardens, The Secret Century Garden, Harlow Garden Services Limited, Haha Garden, and Roger Gladwell Landscaping and Design, Bramble Barn. In this category, Phil, I can see that we've got even more complex structures being built, including one or two really nice pergolas. We've got some lovely raised paving areas. There's some lovely soft landscaping in here too.
Okay, Bob, so we're moving on nice and quickly. We're doing well. The next is project value £50,000 to £65,000 finalists, please.
The finalists in that category are as follows: Artisan Landscapes, Fremantle, Bushy Business Limited, Farnham Alfresco Garden, Garden Club London Limited, Chapel Street, Belgravia, the Botanical Gardener, Atwell, and Harlow Garden Service Limited, Family Entertaining Garden. Now, looking at these, it's really fascinating how these have been put forward, because some have very difficult access. Some are built in central London at the back of terrace properties. Some, I know, have meant going through houses just to get to the garden, and some different approaches to some of the hard surfaces, some of them with some quite tricky angles to produce some really integrated type of hard surfaces.
There was some really good soft landscaping in that previous category as well, wasn't there? And it's good to see some projects with some good elements of soft landscaping included. So our next project value is 65 to 80,000 pounds, please, Bob.
There are only two finalists in the 65,000 to 80,000 pound category, and they are as follows: Frogheath Landscapes, Hilltop Hideaway, and Artisan Landscapes, Percival Road. Two nice schemes, though, and I think these two are probably going neck and neck. So I know from the judges' discussion, these were hotly debated, and um, I'm a little bit on tenterhooks to see which one finally is going to be the winner.
Well, finally, he's going to get crowned the winner of that category. Yeah, definitely. So going up in value again, our next category is 80,000 to 100,000 pounds, please, Bob.
The finalists in the 80 to 100,000 pound category are as follows: Artisan Landscapes, Winford Lane; Longstock Park Landscapes, Mulberry House; Artisan Landscapes, Ridgeway Road; and Holland Landscapes, Runsell Lane. Amongst these, I can see some lovely, colourful planting, and also some good, solid, all year round planting. Planting features quite highly in this particular section, although, of course, there's been some tricky, hard landscaping done as well. Some great work involving some steps and some patios, lots of them with curves, lots of them with some very tricky areas to work around.
So moving on to the next category, we're starting to go up now. We're into the 100,000 to 175,000 pounds worth finalists.
Arbworks Limited, it's all downhill from here. Brett Hardy Landscapes and Design, Sympathetic Rural Retreat; Essie Landscapes, Rylands; Slate Grey Design Limited, Beachmont Hall; and Urban Landscape Design Limited, the Penthouse Roof in Liverpool. Very, very colourful, some of these, and some of them have some very bespoke structures as part of their work. Some of them are built in some trying circumstances on very difficult slopes. So interesting to see just how the judges have weighed up each one of these against each other.
Next project value is 175 to 250,000 pounds.
Well, here we are with the big boys in this category, and there are three finalists in this category. First of all, then, County Garden Management, the Windmill; Garden House Design, Coastal Road; and Langdale Landscape, Steep Garden, Seven Oaks. Each entry here has actually been at the top end of the skill set, and I just admire what's been achieved.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. But we do have one category that's even higher, don't we, Bob? And that's our final set of value categories, and that's project value over £250,000.
We have Essie Landscapes with Bluebells. We then have Landforms Consultants Limited with Richmond Garden, and Langdale Landscapes with Pinewood House. As you say, each of these creates a whole environment of its own. They are landscapes which you can truly call landscapes. They're not just a garden on their own. All of them produced to perfection, ready for this particular award scheme. And interesting, I didn't see any of these three, but interesting to hear from the judges what they thought of them.
Yeah. And we then move on to our first set of special categories, which is the award for the best garden feature. Just explain, what we're looking for in a feature, Bob, quickly, if you wouldn't mind, and then we'll announce who the finalists are.
I think our view about features is they need to display something which is quite unique or bespoke, something that has been superbly constructed, something that's very fitting to its environment, and that includes the appropriate use of materials, if it's planting, the appropriate use of plants.
Yeah.
And I think most of all, we want to think that the feature fits really well into the landscape it's been designed for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it has to be a part and parcel of an overall scheme. So um, all four of these have been considered by the judges to be very fitting to that particular category.
Yeah.
And I'll go through each of the four of them now.
Perfect.
And
Thank you,
we
Rob.
have then Conquest Creative Spaces with the Green Wall at Thema Garden. We have the designs by Sussex Landscapes, which is the Heathers Fire Pit. Roger Gladwell Design. We have Burwell House and Outdoor Creations entry of the Sussex Kitchen Garden, Moongate. Four very different schemes indeed. One a green wall, one the fire pit, a moon arch, and of course a building complete with the kitchen.
Yeah, yeah, and they were all stunning in their own right, weren't they?
Yes,
Very
they
very
were.
difficult to judge, very difficult to judge. We then go on to our next specialist category, which is soft landscaping, and the finalists that were selected from this fiercely contested category.
One is Slate Grey Design Limited with Beechmont Hall. The other is Karen McClure Garden with the Urban Jungle. Now, uh, both of these are very, very different by their nature. Both schemes very different, but both very compelling and
Mm,
both produced to an extremely high standard.
yes, they were indeed. Moving on, our next specialist category is the hard landscaping finalists.
Yes, Phil, we have four finalists that we've listed for this, and I'll read them out as follows: Gardenscapes with Woodstock Grove, Landform Consultants Limited with Hobhouse Court Garden, HG Landscapes with Harold House, and Conquest Creative Spaces with an appropriately named Stairway to Heaven. Phil, interesting, great mix of materials here. I don't know if you'd like to comment on these.
Well, yeah, I think that there is. I think for me, with the hard landscaping, years gone by, we hard landscaping used to just be huge expanses of either porcelain or calibrated sandstone paving, on large wraparound projects. And this year, the entrants are very varied, with showing a lot of different techniques. A lot of structural work involved in at least three of them. And I do know from what you reported back from one of your visits, a great deal of logistical work and a fine finish in one of the others. So exciting category as always, and good use of materials. And that brings us nicely on to the next category, which is of course one of the most fiercely contested, which is the overall design and build category.
There are six finalists in this category, Phil. Roger Gladwell, Landscape and Design. A. Mays Ing. Great play on words there. So
Yeah.
well done, Roger, for that. We then have Artisan Landscapes with their Fremantle design in Bristol. We have Urban Landscape Design Limited with Horton Hall, Cheshire. We have Artisan Landscapes with their Percival Road project. Brett Hardy Landscapes and Design with Sympathetic Rural Retreat near Bath. And finally, yet another Artisan Landscapes entry, the Winford Lane project. It's made me very proud, just from my position, to be associated with the APL,
Mm.
seeing what's been produced. And I was also very, very pleased to see the entries from my colleague judges as well, because those have just added to my feeling that what a comprehensive service the APL can offer
Yeah.
to the landscape industry, and absolutely brilliant, all of these.
The next one category is not something that the APL is renowned for, but nevertheless is an area of the industry that we are still have members that are involved in, so we still want to recognise that, and that is the commercial garden finalists. So we've got some entries into that again this year.
Yes, there are 5 in this category, and interesting, we have 2 entries in this category from Timothy. One is for Westbrook Hay, and the other Timothy Landscapes is Stanwick Lakes. We then have an entry from Frogheath Landscapes at the Donkey Sanctuary in Devon. We then have landform consultants with Cotton Mill Spa Garden, Sopwell House Hotel. And finally, we have urban landscape design with the Rolls-Royce McLaren showroom. Did I hear, Phil, that you managed to wheedle your way along to the Rolls-Royce McLaren showroom?
Yeah, I did indeed, and mind you, when I got there, it was absolutely frightening because you were just scared to touch anything, just in case you put a smudge or a scratch on the Rolls Royces and McLarens that were there. This next category, Bob, is something that we reintroduced a couple of years ago, and is now starting to gain even more popularity. We had quite a few entries this year into this one, and that's our maintenance category.
The 6 finalists are as follows: Bushy Business Limited, Surrey Aftercare; County Garden Management, Danbury Palace; Earthstone Landscapes, White Beams; Beetlestones Garden Maintenance, Crispians; and Landform Consultants, Richmond Hill Garden. I think it's fair to mention, Phil, we do actually also look very carefully at the way in which these gardens look after the health and safety aspects, how they work with a budget to produce what they do, and how they meet the client's wishes. So it's not just a question of going along with a clipboard and ticking a box.
Our final category of the APL Awards 2021 is our APL Designer of the Year.
We have Rain Garden Design, who have entered 3 of their schemes: the Farnham Alfresco Garden, the Arched Garden, and also Wellington House.
Yeah.
We also have Tina Vallis, who has entered a garden for retirement. And we then have Artisan Landscapes, who have entered Winford Lane, Fremantle, and Percival Road.
That's the end of all our categories and the end of our finalists for the APL Awards 2021. Our finals, the date is still down as March the 12th, but obviously with everything that's been going on in the country at the moment, we too have taken the decision to hold our awards as a virtual event. So we're busy now putting preparations together and trying to make it into as much as a party as we possibly can, and we're all really looking forward to it. I think it will be something very different, very exciting. But there are going to be some more information coming out about that as straight after this announcement today, with how you can register your interest and everything. I believe it's going to be free of charge to attend, or to log in. So it's going to be a great event, and hopefully we'll all be able to get together, and we'll be building up the excitement as we get closer to March. But for now, the excitement is all about these exceptionally good finalists, isn't it, Bob?
It is indeed.
Yeah. And also, I just wanted to announce that the awards for 2022. So if you want to enter for the APL Awards 2022, you can do so right now. The website is open and you can start entering now. So if you've seen some of the awards that we've announced as finalists today, and you think, well, I've got projects as good as that or better, then get them entered straight away. The sooner you do it, the sooner it's off your plate, and you can carry on with your day to day. So, excellent, Bob. So in closing, I would just like to say a huge thank you to all our entrants this year. There's been some absolutely stunning projects, very difficult to judge, and I'm really looking forward to seeing who's gonna win. Good luck to you all. What do you think, Bob?
I'm just absolutely taken aback by the variety of the entries that we've had. Some of them very complex, some of them fairly simple, all of them showing great skill in landscaping and a great credit to the industry.
Yes, couldn't agree more.